Employee Network Groups by Sondra Price. Employee Network Groups. Employee network groups are very beneficial to businesses and organizations. Employee network groups can be traced back to the 1970s, when women and different nationalities began to be hired into management positions in significant numbers. Group meetings happen on a regular basis in most situations, normally once or twice a month during either lunch or before and after work hours. Common group activities are discussions of issues pertaining to the group, leadership seminars, and also hosting guest speakers. If there are no formal activities or events during the meetings, members will simply get together and talk about current events happening in their lives in a safe, comfortable atmosphere. While these forums are required to be open to all employees of the company, usually members of a group share a specific characteristic or interest. What are employee network groups? Employee network groups are formally established groups of employees that are organized based on social identity, such as gender or ethnicity. Employee network groups are also known as advocacy, affinity, or resource groups. 90% of Fortune 500 companies have employee network groups. Employee network groups give minority employees added confidence, which can make them a more effective and successful employee. Why people join employee network groups. Some people join employee network groups because they feel a lack of support from the organization that they work for. They may need support and coaching from different group members to feel more comfortable. Others join network groups because they are most at ease when being around people similar to themselves. Social network theory uses the term homophily to describe this phenomenon, where people are more comfortable and thus interact more with people similar to them. Organizations using employee network groups. Two organizations that currently use employee network groups are Ford Motor Company and Allstate Insurance Company. Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company refers to its employee network groups as employee resource groups. Individual groups must submit a written statement to executives that outlines the group's mission, the advantage the group would provide to its employee members, the group's bylaws, and its goals. Ford Motor Company is very committed to encouraging an inclusive culture and diversity in its workplace. Ford Motor Company is a great example when discussing employee network groups, as they are a highly successful organization. Allstate Insurance Company. Allstate also refers to its employee network groups as employee resource groups. These employee resource groups help the business and help employees build relationships with people they have common interest with. These groups are officially recognized by the company. All employee network groups are open to all employees of Allstate. Their mission is to provide an open forum where employees with a shared interest aspire, develop, and collaborate to reach their highest potential, represent Allstate in the community, and serve as a key resource to the company for specific consumer, employee, and agent rights. Benefits of employee network groups. Employers and employees both achieve many benefits through having employee network groups. Employee network groups are a great way to encourage a diverse and multicultural workplace. These groups are said to help increase diversity because they help recognize that certain groups of people are underrepresented in an organization. Network groups are a good way for employers to find out what current issues are and the concerns facing minorities. This way, they can make improvements in the organization. Organizations that support these groups have consistently seen higher retention rates, improved employee performance, more qualified applicants, and breakthroughs into new markets and products. Retention rates are increased because rather than feeling alone or ignored, employee network groups allow minority employees to feel like part of a group that understands them. Network groups help companies reach minority groups by providing different perspectives and ideas. Potential risk of employee network groups. Some may say that employee network groups isolate minority groups even further. According to Patricia Dye, some diversity specialists think that the formation of employee network groups are a potential danger. These specialists also caution that these groups can promote defensiveness and increased conflict. Others with this same opinion fear that members in network groups will send a message to their fellow employees that they do not want to interact or associate with them. Final recommendations. While there are a few possible negative outcomes to employee network groups, the positives greatly outweigh them. Through regression analysis, network groups have shown to significantly boost individual career optimism, which is done through increasing in-group social interaction and mentoring. After examining the use of employee network groups in organizations, they show that they greatly benefit all stakeholders. My recommendation would be to implement employee network groups into the organization. This is because they promote a more diverse workplace, more satisfied employees, increased retention rates, and improved business. My other recommendation would be to collect feedback from employees in employee network groups to avoid the negative outcomes that can potentially arise when forming employee network groups. The end. References